Hi, good evening, everyone. In this particular session, demo kind of thing, like where I will try to explain what are the topics we are going to discuss and what are the what are the services we will try to discuss and what is a we will try to see some demo where we will try to spin up some infrastructure on the providers like AWS, for example, right now in this demo. So we will see like what are the topics and what are the sessions that will be covered in this entire demo. Okay. So if you have any questions, keep a note of it, and at the end of this particular demo, we will discuss on that. Okay. So this is myself, like Sudesh. So I was teaching in Visualpath from past 5 years actually. So I used to teach DevOps and there's Docker and Kubernetes, and now I'm shifted into this automation form like Terraform for our AWS and Azure. Okay. So coming to the point, so let us try to understand what is this Terraform all about and why we have to use Terraform. So why we don't have any other tool, or we have some tool. So what are the advantages and disadvantages compared to other tools, and why we have to choose this Terraform for our infrastructure automation purpose. Okay. So hope everybody comes from a different background. Some people might be from automation side, manual automation or something, and some people might be from operations side. Some people might be from storage side, and some people could be from cloud side and all. Okay. So whatever the medium it is, so when you want to automate something, so we have to pick some tool in order to automate our process in a CI/CD process or our manual steps to avoid that. Okay. So because everything is getting automated, right? So that's the reason we have to choose some tool which is best and which is, should be effective for our infrastructure or configuration management or any other thing, right? So we have so many infrastructure management tools. Like first of all, let us understand what is this infrastructure management. So infrastructure management in the sense simple. If you want to manage your infrastructure, right, like your servers, okay, or I'm saying like in the cloud side, your instances, your networking on the cloud side, or if you want to spin up some, what do we say, databases, services, or if you want to create some users and all, these comes under services on the cloud provider. Okay. So let's say for this particular cloud providers, if I want to create something, I have to follow some manual steps all the time, right? If I want to create some instance in AWS or Azure it is called as virtual machine, but ultimately it is a virtual machine which is created on the cloud side, right? So when you want to create that particular virtual machine, for example, you have to follow some steps. You have to click this one, you have to enable that parameter, you have to follow the steps, you have to enable this. So there are so many things which you have to do, right? For example, if you look at this, for example, this is my AWS instance. Okay. So where I have logged into my portal, we will see in the actual sessions how to create our account in this AWS and in Azure as well. So in Azure, it is called as virtual machines technically, and here it is called as instance. Okay. So if you search for EC2 instance, let's say I want to spin up some Linux virtual machine, right? So if I want to do that, I need to go to this particular service, right? So I need to go to this service and I need to click on instances and then say, for example, I need to launch instance, right? So the first and foremost thing which I need to select is nothing but image, means which operating system I need to use in order to spin up my instance. So let's say I'll be using this default one, or I can go through this with Ubuntu or SUSE or Red Hat or Microsoft Windows, whatever I want, I can select. This is under free trial, means I'm using free trial account, so I can select only this particular images actually. If I select any other thing, I need to pay for that. Based on hourly basis, I need to pay for that. So let us go for free trial eligible, and let me try to pick this Ubuntu, right? So I need to select this AMI first, which is called as Amazon Machine Image. Nothing but technically, which is we call it as ISO, right? And after that, I have to select the instance type. So instance type in the sense, what should be your virtual machine CPUs, number of CPUs that you want to allocate, and how much memory you want to allocate, and what should be the IO process that you want to allocate to your virtual machine which you are trying to create. So according to this free account which I have, I am eligible to use this particular T2.micro. Okay, if you want, you can use this, but immediately if you delete that, nothing will happen to your billing, right? You can delete it immediately and you can use it. Okay. For testing purpose, I'm not too concerned about this instance type. So I'll go with the default parameter. So this is the next option which I need to select, right? Here itself, I can review and launch. But if you want to do some customizations, we have to follow other steps as well in order to log into this particular virtual machine, right? So next is configure instance details. So with the same parameters, how many instances you want to launch. So that number count you can specify here. Okay. So if you want to launch 3 instances at a time with the same specifications, then go for 3. If you want to launch one, by default it is, then go for one. Okay. So I will go with the default networking and all. So where your instance will get an IP address from that particular network. Okay. It is called as virtual private network. Okay. So that is what we are using right now. So this virtual private network, I will be using all other options as default. I will not change anything. And then I will go for storage. Means how much amount of disk I want to attach to my virtual machine. Okay. So by default, you are eligible up to 30 GB of disk that you can attach to your instance. Okay. So it is up to you, like how much you want to allocate, it's up to you, but I will go with default parameters right now. Okay. So attach a tag. Tag is optional. It is not too mandatory that you have to select. Okay. But let me give name something like Terraform demo. Okay. Terraform hyphen demo. And then the same label will be attached to your instance, your volume, and your network interface. Okay. So then configure security group. So security group is something where which port number you want to allow to log into your instance. Let's say if you want to communicate to your instance with port number 22, you have to allow this. By default, it is open. If you have installed some web application, you have to allow the port number of 80. Then only you can communicate to that particular application which is running inside the virtual machine, right? So this is how it is. I will go with 22. So that is enough for me. And then review and launch. So here you can review once again what are the parameters you have selected. Based on that, you can modify if you need, and then you can launch. Here, in order to communicate to my or if I want to log into my virtual machine or the instance, I need a key. Okay, so that key I already have it. So I'm using that particular key in order to log in. If you want to create, we can create. You will get an option to create as well. Let's say here you can select create a new private key and then you can use it. Since I already have this, I'm using for this particular demo right now. I'm not creating it. Okay. So launch instance. Just I want to show you how it is different from manual steps and how it is different from Terraform automation purpose. So now view instance, and this is how your instance is getting created. Now you can see you have to select so many options right now. Each and every time you cannot remember these options, right? Let's say you are the owner of this particular instance which you are trying to create, that's fine. Okay, you have to remember this anyway in order to select. Tomorrow when you're working on this particular instance that has to be created, either you need to create some AWS formation template, okay, or you can use any other source or medium to create this. Again, you can create this by using template. You can see this launch template that can simplify your job. But if you are trying to deploy some large applications, or if you are trying to create so many services for your project related things, let's say a client related project you're working on, he will create so many resources, right? It is not about only instance. You will be creating VPC, custom VPC, and you will be creating some security groups. You will be creating some elastic IP. You will be creating some instance. You will do a lot of other stuffs in the background. So that has to be created one after the other in an ordered way, and you have to control that as well. So in order to do that kind of large infrastructure maintenance, doing it manually, it is not tough for us. Okay, so we have to follow some automation process. So for that, we have chosen Terraform right now. Okay, so let's see, this instance has been launched. Let me log into this. So how I can log in? Go to my console. If you have putty, you can use that. I'm using Mumbai Extern for this example. Okay, let me log into this. Since I allowed SSH port number, I should able to communicate to this. So login. So here, just a second, let me open session. Here I need to give the public IP address, and then the username of Ubuntu AMI is Ubuntu user. Okay, and then advanced SSH settings. Since you are using key based authentication, right, you have to select key, and then you have to go for that. Let me search my key, which I've already stored and downloaded earlier. So there is this, where is this, where is this? Yeah, here it is. Okay, then select. Once it is done, let me try to click on OK. If your port is open and if your firewall is enabled, then you can see you are logged into your instance. Okay, so successfully I have logged into my instance, to my AWS instance right now. Okay, if I want to ping, I can ping google.com and I can check my connectivity. Sorry, ping google.com. It works. So means it was able to communicate to the outside world. So this is how we can launch our instance manually, right? So this is how we do. So now we are choosing some automation tool, right? So what are the automation tools we have? We have Ansible, we have Ceph, we have Puppet, we have SaltStack, we have Terraform as well. So we have so many tools in order to spin up the infrastructure. So why I have to go for Terraform? Why? Because Terraform is especially designed for infrastructure management. So infrastructure management in the sense, if you talk about your cloud providers like AWS and Azure, it is nothing but services which they are providing. Okay, if you want to spin up that particular infrastructure from your side, just as in please increase the font, not able to see it properly. Is it you're talking about the terminal, this one, or you're talking about this?
Yeah, I could see like all the screens very tiny, the font.
Okay, let
Could
me. Okay, you're talking about the browser, I guess.
Yeah,
Is
the
that fine?
browser and the screens all like it is so tiny for me. I couldn't see properly.
Okay, you're watching from mobile or from the desktop?
From the desktop.
Okay, that should be fine. Okay, now how about this?
Okay,
Is that
maybe
same?
I should. Yeah,
See, I think you have to open the full screen. That would be better for you.
full screen. Okay.
Yeah. See the option there. You can open a full screen
Yeah, okay,
because
okay.
you might have seen this participants and all. So that's the reason the screen will be much smaller compared to full screen.
Okay, okay.
Done
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now this is how I have launched my instance. So every time I cannot remember this, right? Or any time, every time I cannot sit in front of this particular providers and I keep on creating this for my developers, right? So for this, I want to automate the process. So once the infrastructure has been created, like developers are ready to deploy their applications. So in order to do that particular process, so we are using some different tools now. Okay. So one among them is nothing but Terraform. So before that, let us try to understand what are the other tools we have. We have SaltStack, we have Ansible, we have Puppet, we have Ceph, and we have Vagrant as well. So this Ansible, which we already know, which is like popular for us, which is especially designed for configuration management. What is this configuration management in the sense? Once your instance has been launched or your bare metal server has been created, can you please everybody go on mute? Okay, thank you. Okay, so this configuration management tools are especially designed for anything which you want to configure on your system once it is launched. Let's say bare metal server or your virtual machine or any other thing. After your instance has been launched, if you want to log in and do some configuration changes, or if you want to install some package, or if you want to remove some packages, or if you want to do anything else, then these particular tools are very useful for us. Ansible, Puppet, Ceph, StarStack, and all. Okay, these are especially designed for configuration management. These are not designed for full-fledged infrastructure management. Yes, we can do it. Okay, yes, we can still manage our infrastructure through Ansible, Puppet, and Ceph, but it is not full-fledgedly designed to work properly. Okay, so Terraform especially concentrates on configuration manage sorry, infrastructure management. Okay, so infrastructure management in the sense it can create your infrastructure, it can destroy your infrastructure, it can update your infrastructure for everything. It is really tough to manage this infrastructure through Ansible because for everything you need to write a playbook. So for creating you need to write a playbook, for destroying you need to write a playbook, and for updating also you need to write a playbook. or for update, let's say it is not needed. Let's say you just need to modify the playbooks, but you have to write a playbook to destroy as well. Okay, so which is really tough for me to manage that. Whereas infrastructure, you'll be writing a configuration management, not a configuration management especially, like you will be writing a configuration files, which we call it as HashiCorp configuration language, and that will be used to create, to destroy, and to update. Okay, no need to write additional things to destroy, no need to write additional things to update. Okay, so that's the advantage we have with the Terraform. Okay, so that's the reason Terraform mainly concentrates on infrastructure management, whereas this Ansible, Puppet, Ceph, and other tools which we have are especially designed for configuration management. Okay, so the languages which we are using in this Terraform is nothing but, your Terraform is actually designed in Golang, but we will be using some declarative language in order to call the API calls, where Terraform will use certain API calls to communicate to your provider. So what is your provider? It will be your target, where you are trying to communicate and create your infrastructure. For example, AWS is your provider, Azure is your provider for Terraform, or Kubernetes is your provider for Terraform. Anything, anything is a provider for Terraform. Whatever the provider it is, you have to write your Terraform configuration management, configuration files, and you have to use declarative language, and that's how you will communicate, you will spin up your infrastructure. So for me, it is no need to learn any language. Okay, I no need to concentrate on Python or Go or something else. So directly I can write my, I need to follow certain syntaxes. How will you write your normal YAML files, right? So similar to that, you have to write your Terraform configuration files with using a Terraform configuration language. So you have to write and you have to simply create it. Okay, so that's a simple way of using this Terraform. So Terraform does a lot of things. We will discuss few things today, what it can do, what other tools cannot do on this particular scenario. Okay, so this is a tabular form which will describe the differences between your other tools which we have for configuration management and for infrastructure management. So since you are writing a Terraform configuration files, so that's the reason it is called as infrastructure as a code tools. Okay. So what is a Terraform working principle? Working principle in the sense, you will write your configuration file, Terraform configuration file, and that file is used to spin up your infrastructure. So how it looks, let me show you. Okay, it looks like this. For example, it looks like this. Let's say what it is trying to do is nothing but, it is trying to create some network, and it is trying, for that network it is creating some routing table, subnet, internet gateway, routing table entries and all. Okay, all this you will write your Terraform configuration file. By looking at this file only, you can understand what it is trying to do. Okay, only thing what we have to learn from our side is nothing but how to write this block, which is called as block, actually resource block. So for to everything to create on your AWS provider or your Azure provider, you have to know what resource you have to use and what are the entries you need to write in this particular block. That is the only thing we have to do. Anyway, they will provide you some examples, so using that you have to modify according to your requirement. So everything is present, you have to modify according to your requirement. That's it, as simple as it is. So it is not something a rocket science you have to do from scratch, from coding or something like that. It's not like that. Okay, so just you have to understand what is your provider. Okay, what resource I want to create, for that resource what is a template. So try to use that template, modify according to your requirement, and spin up the infrastructure. That's it. Okay, so first of all, because of this, for a new guys or who has already had some idea on AWS and Azure, they might have some advantage of creating it actually. But people who are completely new to this particular session, right? So what I'm trying to do is nothing but, first of all, I will explain each and every service in Azure and AWS, because everybody doesn't know about Azure and AWS, right? So first of all, I have to explain that how to create an account, free account in AWS and Azure. I need to show them manually how to create that, what is that service, what it can do, what are the advantages you have. Okay, and then first I need to show it manually. That is what I do, like in the teaching process. And then I will show you how to write a Terraform configuration files. So then you will understand how it will be useful and how it will simplify your job. Okay, so that's where I will start with. Okay, so that's where for newcomers it will helpful, and for the people who already have some idea how we are trying to utilize that. Okay, so that I need to cover everybody. So that's where I will teach like from scratch. So no need to worry that okay, I need to learn AWS. Do I need to? No. So we will be starting from there itself. Okay, AWS and Azure. Okay. So coming to this particular Terraform workflow, you will write your configuration files. After that, you will run Terraform init command. So this init command in the sense initialization. So you will write your Terraform configuration file like this. Okay, this is a sample syntax. Okay, and then once you have written this, actually you will run Terraform init command. So what is this Terraform init command? So it will download the plugin. Okay, whatever the provider you have specified. Okay, let's say I'm trying to communicate to AWS. So it will try, I will specify that. Okay, so how it looks, let me show you. For example, I can show this. Okay, Terraform resource syntaxes. For example, this is the one. Okay, you can see here. This is the when if you want to run Terraform init command, this file has to be created. Okay, so this is called as Terraform settings block and provider block. So what it will try to do, it will download the AWS provider plugin. AWS, for a Terraform to communicate to AWS, it should have a plugin installed. Okay, so it will download the plugin what you have written, and that version it will download what you have specified, and it will install on your local workstation. Wherever you are running your Terraform init command, there it will download your Terraform plugin. That plugin is used to communicate to your AWS by running some API calls. Okay, so how it will authenticate and all, it depends upon the profile. I will show you that in the actual sessions, but let us assume that this profile will have your credentials. Okay, so no need to worry about that. Okay, so this credentials will be used like your access key and secret key in AWS. Okay, that will be used in order to communicate to your AWS. Once authentication is done, it will create a resource what you have specified. Let's say I'm trying to launch an instance. This is the Terraform configuration file which you have to write in order to launch the instance, which I have done manually right now. Okay, this is a sample snippet. Okay, so it is using this instance type, and this is the image what it is using, AMI, and this is the availability zone where it is trying to launch, and this is the tag which will get assigned. Okay, so when I execute Terraform init based on the provider block what I have written here and the Terraform settings block, it will download the plugin and it will install. Okay, what this is called as initialization. So this will be done by your Terraform init command. Okay, so Terraform init command will download your plugin in order to interact to your provider. After that, you will run Terraform plan. So Terraform plan is something like a preview. Okay, so before actually what it is creating on the target provider, it will show you what it will try to do. Okay, for example, see this snippet. Okay, so when I execute Terraform plan, it is telling you that plus symbol create, which means that the resource what you have defined is trying to get created on the target provider. For example, here it is AWS Elastic Block Storage. Okay, so it is trying to create in this availability zone. You can see that it is telling you that it is trying to create in this availability zone, this EBS it is trying to create. Okay, so few values you'll come to know after this is actually applied. So in those particular section, it will show you known after apply. Okay, so it is trying to create EBS AWS Elastic Block Storage with a size of 100 GB. Okay, so in the plan, it will tell you what it is supposed to create. It is kind of a preview. So once this preview, are you okay with this? Okay, then you can apply Terraform apply. Then you can execute a command called Terraform apply. So once you execute Terraform apply, it will go to the target provider like AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft, VMware, or Kubernetes, whatever it is. It will go to the target and it will authenticate, and then it will create a resource for you. Okay, whatever you have specified. Okay, it looks like this, the workflow. So you'll execute Terraform, you'll write the Terraform configuration files. After writing Terraform configuration file of a specific provider, you will run Terraform init command, and then it will download the plugin on your local system, and then you will run your Terraform plan. It will show you a preview. After that preview, if you are okay with this, it is called as a dry run. Technically, we call it as. Once that is done, you will execute Terraform apply, and it will go to the target provider, and then it will create a resource for you what you have specified in the configuration file. Okay, whether it is AWS or whether it is Azure, the workflow is the same. The advantage of this Terraform is no need to look for a new tool for every provider. See, if I want to spin up some infrastructure on the Kubernetes, I have to look for one tool like Helm charts or something like that. If I want to use AWS, I need to use AWS Cloud Formation, which is an inbuilt feature of infrastructure spin-up. Okay. For Azure, I need to use Azure Resource Manager. So every provider has its own tool, but for all of them, there is a common tool which is called as Terraform. Okay, it is well developed and it has all the providers. Almost it is having more than 1500 plus providers which are supported. You can imagine you will never use in your entire your career. Okay, but those many providers are available, and for every provider we have a different plugins or not different resources which are already developed called as module. Either you can use the module which is already developed and you can create your infrastructure, or else you can write from scratch. Okay, so we will be writing from scratch, and also we will be utilizing the modules. Okay, so we'll be talking about Terraform configuration files creating from scratch, and we will be also talking about modules as well. Okay, so whatever the provider it is the same concept. You have to follow the same Terraform workflow. Okay, only thing is like the provider gets changed. So this is the sample snippet which I've already shown you in the sample file here. Okay, so here itself I've already shown you. This is called as Terraform settings block. Okay, in the older version of your Terraform, we used to like this. Let me show you. Let me show you the older syntaxes actually. Yeah, in older syntax we used to write like this. In the provider section only we used to write what kind of provider you are trying to communicate and which profile you want to use and what should be the reason. Okay, this is older version before Terraform 0.13. Okay, until 0.13 we used to use like this. After Terraform 0.13 we have to follow the new style of writing this Terraform settings block. Okay, so this is how we have to follow right now. Okay, in the provider block now we don't specify these things. We will specify only the region and the profile. Okay, that's how it is. So this is called as Terraform settings block, and this is called as provider block. So similarly we have so many blocks actually which we need to write. So this is a provider block sample example. If you want to create multiple providers, then we can write like this. Okay, if you want to write, this is the older version of snippet and this is the new version of snippet. Okay, and then let us not go in deep right now because everybody will get confused. Okay, so this is provider block and this is resource block. So resource block in the sense, after writing your Terraform settings block and downloading your plugin, now you need to create something on your provider, right? Means on your AWS, I want to spin up some instance, or I want to create some network, or I want to create some database, or I want to create some S3 bucket, whatever it is. That is called as resource in Terraform technical point of view. So for every resource, we have a resource type. This is called as resource type, and this is called as resource name, what you're trying to create from Terraform. Okay, and this resource is getting created with this AMI and this instance type, and this is the tag. Okay, with this your infrastructure will get created. Okay, this is called as resource block. So many resources blocks we have. If you go to the browser and if you search for AWS, okay, resources list. Okay, so like Terraform, just a second. You can see there, if you go to the documentation, let me go for documentation. You can see this. If you scroll down, you can see EKS, EFS, ECS, ECR, DynamoDB, okay, document DB, okay, data sync, Elasticsearch, you have Lancier, Glue, IoT, KMS, okay, you have what do you say, like S3 bucket, SNS, SQS, serverless, like any, for every service what you try to create manually on your AWS, we have a Terraform resource available as well. So whichever
Sudhir?
you want to create, let's say, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, Sudhir.
Yeah.
Whatever you showing the services will be doing the same in the parallel and automation, right?
Yes, exactly. See, let's say you are trying to create some service, right? For every service what you manage in AWS console or through CLI, we can do it from Terraform. You can see on the left hand side. Okay, where Terraform has already created where the plugin is resource is already available. You just need to use it. Let's say for example you want to create some S3 bucket. Here you can see some sample examples. Let's say AWS underscore S3 underscore bucket. This was my resource type for AWS. So if you click on that, you can see some sample examples here.
No, so my
Okay.
question is, hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
hello,
Yes, I can hear you.
hello. Yeah, my question is, whatever you're doing with Terra, we will be doing manually. Then we will be doing with Terraform.
Yes, exactly. True. So you're asking like, first I will show you manually how to create it. Then only I will show you how to create through Terraform, because people will not understand what is this option about, right? If you don't know what is this exactly, what you're trying to create, there is no sense of telling this particular concept, right? First, you have to understand what is this resource, how you will create through AWS console or through CLI, and then you have to understand how to create through Terraform. Then only you will understand what are the options are needed and which are important for us. So totally we will be teaching 10 to 15 services in AWS and 10 to 15 services in Azure as well, which is really important in our interview or to increase your weightage of your profile when you are cracking some interview. Okay, so those important services I will be teaching in you in this particular entire course. Okay, so rest of the services, if you want, you can just see the example and you can create. Okay, so to teach each and every service, it is highly impossible, right? What are the services we listed here? It is highly impossible. Okay, so that's the reason, first of all, we have to understand the core concept of your Terraform. What are the options we have? Then we need to know how to utilize that. Okay, so rest of the things are same. Whatever the provider it is, once you know the Terraform thoroughly, it is the same behavior actually. What are the provider it is? Okay, so that is a core behavior of Terraform. Okay, so coming to the point, so this is the resource block, and this is like one of the resource block. Okay, and let me try to spin up as well. I'll show you the example of this, and this is the networking related some example of resource. Okay, so where it will try to create some VPC and it will create some internet gateway or some networking. So entire networking thing what you want to create, this is the one of the single snippet actually which talks about creating other resource of VPC. Okay, virtual private cloud. Okay, and then Terraform variables. What is this Terraform variables? In Terraform we have a concept called variables. What is this variables all about? Variables in the sense, instead of hard coding the values in your Terraform resource block, okay, instead of hard coding like this, see, I have hard coded this value, right? So every time a user should, when some other people are using this particular Terraform configurations file what I have written from your source code repository, every time they need to they should not go to each and every file and modify it. There should be one location wherever they want to modify. So what are the values they want to modify, they can define in one certain location. Like in Ansible we have this variables and all, right, where you can define. Okay, so similar to that, which is called as values.yaml file. Okay, so similar to that in Terraform it is called as variables block. Okay, so these variables are something which, what are the values you want to replace, then you have to define a variables block and you have to write that variable and you need to call that particular variable to your resource. So how will you call this variable to your resource? For example, it looks like this. Okay, let me show you one example of it. So let me go to the, see, for everything I created a separate topic. So if you go to the third topic called Terraform variables and input variables we are talking about, let me take one simple example. So you'll be defining variables like this. So how will you call this variable to your actual resource? For example, you will call through var dot, okay, var dot your variable name. So automatically a value will be replaced when you are executing this. Okay, so every time a user is not needed to go to this particular file and modify this, he can directly modify this Terraform variables file. Enough, that will get replaced with wherever it is getting called. Okay, so this is one of the way to define your values in a centralized location called variables.tf. So in the variables only we have so many types. In the variables we can totally call in 9 places. Okay, input variables can be called in variables file. Basics it is through prompting variables CLI. We can call it as environment variables. We can call it through TF-vars. There are so many types actually where you can define your variables. In Ansible also we have the same thing, right? Where you can define your variables in multiple locations. So similar to that, in Terraform also we can define in multiple places. So we will discuss each and every example in this. Okay, and then we have output values. So output values in the sense it looks like this. Okay, so this is variables, and if you want to talk about output blocks, so what is this output block, where I have to use this? Output blocks are something where if you want to print something in your Terraform console, like when the Terraform got executed, right, at the last you want to print what is my instance public IP address, what is my instance public DNS. Okay, so that I can look at the output itself and I can access my application in the browser directly instead of going to the AWS console and looking for public IP of the instance. When you are executing Terraform itself in the CI/CD automation process, that will print you whatever the values you want to look into. Okay, so for that you have to write your output block. Okay, so output block is meant to print something after that is created. Okay, if you want to print something which a resource has been created and now you want to pick some value and print in the output, then you have to use output block. Okay, so we will discuss that as well. Okay, one by one example. And then we have Terraform local values. So local values in the sense, let's say in any programming language you will write some functions or methods, right? What is the intention of writing this methods and functions in Terraform, sorry, in normal programming language like C++, Java, like Python or Golang, whatever you take. So in some places it is called as functions, and some places like Python and all they call it as methods. Whatever it is, what is the intention of writing it? When you have some piece of code which should be called in multiple places, if you want to repeat the same snippet in multiple times in your code, then instead of writing same repeated code in multiple places, okay, we will write as a function or a method, and that method will be called in the location where you want to execute. So that will reduce the number of lines of the code, and that will simplify the job of running your code in a lesser time than a longer period. Okay, so that's how it is advantageous for us. So similar to that concept, if you try to compare with Terraform, we call it as local values. So if you have something that should be called multiple times in the same configuration files of Terraform, then you have to write in locals. So you have to avoid this as much as possible because you will get confused in writing variables, locals and all. So that's the reason, use as much less as possible. But if you have something that should be created, that should be called in multiple places of your Terraform configuration files, for example, tags are the best example for repeating it actually in each and every resource. Then you want to add some particular tag which is common for all the resources which you maintain. For that you need to write a local value, and you declare it there the values, and you will call it there. Okay, how will you call it? For variables you call it as var dot. For values, local values, it is called as local dot, and then your variable, sorry, local name. Okay, so that's how we call it. Okay, and then we have data source block. So data source block in the sense, for example, I will show you some simple example. Okay, don't get confused. Maybe in the first day it will be like interesting, but you'll get confused. Okay, so let me delete this, terminate this instance. Actually I don't want this to be running, so manual demo is done, right? So I don't want to maintain this, so let me show you one more example how to create a virtual machine in Azure. Okay, so it is so simple guys, everything is same actually, but the method what we follow is different. Okay, so create, let's say I want to create a virtual machine. Okay, manually how to create I'm showing you. It's a create virtual machine. Then what is your subscription and resource group? So this one I will tell you later what is this resource group and all. Okay, what should be the name of this virtual machine? Let's say Terraform demo. Okay, and in which region you want to create and which availability zone. Okay, so region in the sense some particular location. In that location the group of data centers are called as availability zones. Okay, every data center is called as availability zone. Okay, let's say in Mumbai we have data centers AWS and Azure. Okay, so in Mumbai only we have two different locations where our data center is available for Azure and for AWS. So this Mumbai is called as region, and in the Mumbai only we have two different data centers. These are called as availability zones. Okay, so simple it is. Now I'm selecting this image by default. Spot instance, I don't want to modify anything. I just want to allow SSH22, and you are trying to create this particular key pair. Okay, then review and create. I don't want to modify anything. And then once a review is done, if review is validated successfully, if review is passed, then we can create. Okay, so let me create this. Just create. So it is telling you that how much it will cost. Okay, so download the private key. I'm trying to download it and store it on your local system if you want to communicate. Okay, so this will download somewhere. I'll say like Azure. Okay, so download is done. So it is under creation process. Okay, so let it get created in the meanwhile. I think it's almost done. Okay, it is still under process. So deployment is in progress. So it is trying to create a virtual machine for me with the parameters what I've selected. Okay, so let it go on. So this is how we create a virtual machine in Azure, and this is how we create an instance in AWS. Okay, ultimately we are trying to create some instance virtual machine, that's it. After that you will deploy some application, whether it is running in Azure or whether it is running in AWS. Once the instance is created, what applications you run, it will be the same. Okay, but where you are running is a different concept. Okay, that's the only thing we need to consider into our like we need to make a note. Okay, it is not a rocket science, actually it is so simple to understand. Instead of we maintaining the data center, we are taking the help of providers like AWS and Azure. We are trying to spin up our instance over there. Okay, so as simple as it is. So it is under creation process still. So before that, let me try to explain about what is a data source. Data source is something like filtering. Okay, let's say for example, when you are purchasing some particular device in your let's say in your Amazon app or in your Flipkart, right, you will try to filter. Let's say today there is a new mobile got released. I want to filter that particular mobiles based on cost, based on the model, or based on the resources like specifications. Okay, like amount of memory and amount of pixels and or what are the camera you're using, and based on the brand, right? So you'll try to filter that. So based on the filter what you have added, it will list the mobiles. So instead of showing so many mobiles and confusing you, you are trying to add some filter, right? So that will simplify the searching process. So similar to your Terraform, instead of searching for your image, okay, for your image what you have specified, you can add some filtering. Let's say every time I cannot hardcode this. Even in variables.tf file, you have to define that, right? Your AMI. Instead of hardcoding that values in your variables or in your actual Terraform configuration file, what I can do is nothing but I can add a data source. So data source is something where it will filter based on the parameters you have selected, and it will pick that particular AMI and it will automatically replace in your Terraform configuration file. That is a benefit we get from data source. See this example. We are trying to filter the AMI based on the owner called Amazon, which is nothing but Amazon Marketplace. Most recent one in the sense, which is the latest one which got uploaded, that we want to use. How you are trying to filter your image? The filter name of the image should start with this, and the root device type should be EBS. Virtualization type should be HVM. Architecture should be x86, means 64-bit. This is what I'm trying to filter. Among this particular filter, I need to take the latest AMI. So this is how it will pick automatically. So no need to hardcode the values in your variables file. With the help of this, I can simplify my job. So if you want to do it manually, how you need to do, let me show you. This is public image. Okay, here you can see totally you are getting 1,54,264. Okay, these are the maximum number of images you got. In this, your Terraform has to filter your image what you give. So it is bit time consuming, right? In the background, though you don't know about it, it is time consuming. So in order to reduce the time of execution, what we will try to do is nothing but we will add a filter. So filter, what we are trying to do is like AMI name should be something like AMI hyphen star, for example. Okay, that is the first filter which I added. Okay, after the filter, what I want to add is architecture should be, where is it? Virtualization type should be HVM. So this one. Now you can see how many it filtered? Only 41,000. Where is 1,54,000 and where is your 41,000? See this? This is the advantage of using data source. This is what it will do in the background. Let's say I want to check the platform. So platform is, let's say, Ubuntu. You can see 5423. Now even I want to filter that. Let's say image type or something like architecture 64-bit x86. You can see now 5400. And then if you want to add more filter, you can add. Okay, so let's say platform we have done, owner we have done, owner we have not done. Okay, Amazon marketplace or Amazon image. Okay, you can see now only 1054. In this way we can filter and we can pick the latest one. Okay, so creation date and whatever it is you can do. So this is what a data source will do in the background. What I did manually, your data sets, Terraform data source will do in the background. Okay, so this is the simplest way of it. Any questions in this? Only on this particular topic I'm talking about. So is that clear or you got confused? What data Terraform data source does in the background? Any confusion in this? I'm hoping no. Yeah, thank you. So that is all about data source. So this is how we need to write a data source block. Okay, and then there is another blocks as well, like Terraform remote state storage. So remote state storage in the sense, whenever you try to create your Terraform resources on the provider, Terraform will maintain that particular what is actually created. It will create a Terraform state file. So that state file will have the information of what it has created. Terraform what has created on the provider, that information will be stored in the Terraform state file. Because every time Terraform cannot go to the run the API calls and fetch the information, right? Once a Terraform has managed that particular resource, it will fetch the information and it will store in the Terraform state file. That state file will have the current state, what it has created. And your actual Terraform configuration files, what you are writing is called as desired state. So desired state in the sense, what you are actually trying to create, what is actually created is called as Terraform state file, which is called as current file, current state. Desired state in the sense, what you have written in the Terraform configuration file. Okay, so when you're writing this Terraform state file, every user, let's say we have different developers. Every developer will try to execute this Terraform commands. Every command what they are executing individually will have their own state file. Because of that, what will happen when I am executing the Terraform apply command, or parallelly someone is also executing the same configuration files, same provider, same Terraform configuration file, they are also trying to execute some Terraform plan. What will happen? It will create some mess up on the target provider. Okay, to avoid these particular problems, we have to use a backend storage. Backend storage in the sense, how many developers are trying to write the Terraform configuration file and they are trying to create the resource, but the Terraform state file will be stored in the centralized location. Okay, and that Terraform state file will get logged. Let's say I'm executing Terraform state command, apply command. Let's say Praveen is trying to execute some Terraform apply. I am executing, it is under process. When Praveen is executing Terraform apply, it will get logged. Means he cannot execute actually. It will show you clearly. Okay, so in that way we can avoid the misconfigurations actually. So the advantage of this Terraform remote state storage and locking in the sense, the Terraform state file will be stored in the remote location and that will get locked when someone is trying to run some Terraform plan or Terraform apply. Okay, because of this, multiple Terraform applies cannot be done at the same time. Okay, this will be really helpful for you when you are trying to maintain your infrastructure through Terraform configurations. Okay, so this is one of the advantage and we will try to learn about that. Okay, which are really important, have just made a slides and I have created here. So we can do a lot of other stuffs. Let's say, for example, I created some manually on this particular, let's say I created some instance manually here, for example. Okay, but now it is not managed by your Terraform. I created it manually, but now I want to manage this particular instance which I created manually through Terraform. Can I do that? Does anyone have some idea? Who already know about Terraform a bit? Can we do that or not?
Yes, so there you can do it by using import.
Yes, we can. Can you tell me the command if you know? That will be helpful.
Import command.
Yeah, Terraform import. So Terraform import is something where, but we have to do some manual steps as well. The manual steps in the sense, again, you need to write your, though you have done the import, you have to rewrite few parameters which are not optional, which are required. You need to write your Terraform configuration file. But if you want to manage your this instance right now, which is managed manually, or any resource which is managed manually, but now you want to manage through Terraform, we have to use Terraform import. That also we can do in Terraform. Is it possible with Ansible? Can anyone answer this? Ansible or Puppet or Ceph? Is that possible? Any guess? See, guess is also fine. No, right? It is not possible. Okay, so it doesn't have a feature to manage that. Okay, so these are the advantages. If you talk about like this, we have so many features which we can adopt in Terraform, and it is really advantage. The best example is this Terraform state locking. Okay, in Ansible we don't have like that, right? Everybody can execute that. We don't have anything like state locking. Okay, but in Terraform we have a state locking. So that's the reason everybody is trying to adopt Terraform for managing your infrastructure. Okay, so this is all about, so I'll be teaching about Azure services like virtual machines, networking VNet, okay, identity, Azure Active Directory, and we will be talking about Azure Kubernetes. We'll be talking about AWS Kubernetes, AWS S3 bucket, EBS, VPC instances, and Azure Container Registry. And we will be talking about so many services which is really important to add your weightage to your resume. It's not about only Terraform. Okay, I can trust you guys, like not about only Terraform. I'll be teaching you how to create it manually. And after that, I will try to teach you how to do through Terraform and what are the important parameters you have to enable and what are the important other parameters which you can ignore actually. Okay. So this is what I teach. The existing batch which I used to teach through this actually. Okay. Every topic is written in ordered way. So we will go through this particular flow. This will be pushed into GitHub and I will give you this GitHub link. You can just follow the steps, whatever it is written. It is clearly documented. You can read the README and you can understand what is this all about, and then we can apply. Okay. And then first we will discuss about that topic and then we will try to create that. So that's how this entire session is designed. Okay. So that's all about this particular demo. Okay, so let me try to spin up something. Okay, through Terraform. Let me show you how you can manage that. At least I will show you some workflow so that you can understand how Terraform will manage that. Okay, just wait for 2 minutes. I'll spin up my virtual machine where I've already installed Terraform. Okay, which is for the existing batch. Just give me 2 minutes. Then we can come up with the questions. Okay, this you can see, this is my virtual machine where I installed my Terraform CLI. Okay, and then let me log into this virtual machine. This is already done, so let me close this. This is the one. So I'm trying to log into my virtual machine. I think it should come up. It's coming up. Okay, you can install Terraform on Windows PowerShell as well. Okay, CMD or PowerShell, whatever it is. We'll see all of this. Okay, in the documentation also it is clearly written how to install. Okay, if you go to the first tab, right, first session, it is all about creating your AWS account, Azure account, installing the Terraform CLI and all that stuff. Okay, you can see this initial setup. Okay, in this you can see
So,
how to
sorry to
create an
interrupt you,
account.
Sudhir.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, so in the left side there are so many things are there. So these are the
Yeah,
content which will be covered during the course.
yes, exactly. And we will be doing some CI/CD automation as well. It's not about only manual steps, what we are doing Terraform flow, right? How will you integrate to Jenkins or AWS DevOps pipelines or Azure pipelines or GitHub Actions? That also we will see. Okay, you got the point? Hope so. Okay. Let me log into the virtual
Yes. So
machine.
I got to know that there's some more topics are there like Ansible and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things also. So Ansible will also be covered in this.
No, no, Ansible will not be covered. There is one more topic called Python. Through
Okay.
Python also we can manage our infrastructure, right? So which is called as Bo2 3 or for AWS, right? So
Okay.
we will be teaching on Terraform. For this will be helpful for the people who are not into development side, right? So if we start actually coding through Python coding and all, it will be really tough for other peoples as well. So first of all, we will be teaching through Terraform, and then the same Azure and AWS will be managing through Python coding as well. Okay, both the stuffs.
Okay.
So totally it
So
will
this
take
course is designed for the infrastructure.
infrastructure. Yes, exactly. Not for configuration management. No.
Okay. So programming experience and programming language is not required for this course, right?
See, for Terraform, there is no programming languages needed. For Python, they will be teaching first
Okay.
Python. Even though if you don't know Python, they first we will be teaching Python. There is a module like which talks about that as well. In the prospector, you can read that. Okay, so which will be teaching Python first, and after that we will be using Python Bo2 3 or SDK in order to spin up your infrastructure on AWS and Azure through Python code. Okay.
Okay. So will it be easy to learn for those who is from infra background?
Yes, exactly. See, I am, let's say I'm only the operations engineer. For me, it's not needed coding, right? So why I need to scratch my head? So I have a Terraform. It is a simple
Okay.
declarative language. I can use that and I can spin up my infrastructure. It is not actually coding which is needed, right? That's how it is.
Okay.
So simple.
And I have a
So what
question, like
exactly Terraform
how
is? Yes.
See, Terraform is just an infrastructure management tool. Okay, if you want to spin up your infrastructure anywhere for any provider, Terraform is a common platform. No need to search for different configuration, infrastructure management tool for every provider what you're using, right? This is a common tool to manage that.
Okay.
So this is what we have discussed. So many things what we can do through Terraform, like state locking, remote storage, state file, blocks, okay, destroying, creating, updating, everything. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after
hi
completing
Sudeep.
this course, what kind of
Just a
what would be
second.
the role?
I don't know who is talking. Manikanta,
Sorry,
right?
Sudeep. Yeah, please continue. I will ask later. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Manikanta, do you have any questions or Satyendra? Who is that? I don't know. Sorry.
Yes, yes. How long it will take to complete the Python?
So Python and Terraform including, it will take 1.5 months to complete every weekdays, no Saturdays, Sundays classes. It will be 1 hour session. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
And
Suraj, I
after
have a
that,
one more query.
yes, yes.
What after completing this course, what would be the role that we can search for the job? What would be the role, job
See,
profile?
you can add like cloud automation engineer. Okay. Simple.
Okay.
Cloud automation
Okay.
engineer.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Cloud infrastructure automation engineer, not
Yeah.
only cloud,
Thank.
anything, right? That's how. See, the problem
Okay.
with now it is, right,
Yes.
profile will change, company will
Yeah.
talk in a different way, but your profile just add like cloud automation engineer. Okay, that's it, through Terraform. That should be
Okay.
your main profile.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank
someone is
you.
asking something. Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Hi Sudeep. My name is Rajeshwari, and I'm from a different background. I'm an Atlassian
Okay,
expert,
okay.
but I would like to expand my skill set to the AWS side of it. So I'm quite familiar with the concepts of the AWS. However, I would like to know like what should be the skill set that is required to attend this course to follow the content. Like,
As I said, right, who doesn't know about AWS? Who doesn't know about Azure? Who doesn't know about this cloud, Azure or AWS, right? Technically, they will call it with a different service name, but ultimately the intention is the same, right? That's the first part. Now, if you don't know AWS also at all, you never used it, or you have never seen the dashboard, and you have never seen the dashboard or service about your Azure, and you never know about Terraform, can join this course. Simple. From scratch it is. It's not about we are expecting the people who already knows about AWS, not like that. And we are not expecting the people who have the background of Azure. It's not like that. Who doesn't know anything, they can start from here. That's what I can promise, because everything I will show, I'm showing from scratch, right? It's not that I'm teaching from somewhere else. Even I'm showing you how to create AWS account free tier, Azure free tier, and then I will show you how to install Terraform. I'll show you few Linux commands as well, how to utilize it for troubleshooting, and then we will install from scratch. It's not that even we are doing some CI/CD, which is not really needed for our organization to teach actually. CI/CD automation through Azure DevOps, okay, which you learn Azure DevOps as well. So that will increase your profile a lot. Okay, earlier 2 years back, right, AWS was only provider which is like occupying 40% of the market, 45 to maybe 50 around, I guess. Now look at Azure from past 6 months or 7 months or 1 year, it is picking up like anything. Now everybody started using this Azure. So that's the reason why we added Azure as well. So that your profile is now divided into two parts. Either you can put it Azure and AWS. If some company is asking Azure, you are already expert in that, right? With Terraform, you already know all the services. Okay, don't worry too much about what you want to learn. The only thing is like you have to spend some time. That is the only thing what you need to do some effort from your side. See, I am not saying like everybody will
Yes,
not
Sudhir.
practice
I have a
because
question.
of the. Kiran, just give me 2 minutes, okay? Let's say some people will be working on daily basis. I can understand their problem, right? They'll be keeping all the content what we have learned on weekdays. They will try to practice on weekends. The problem is if you on weekend, it doesn't mean that you will be free, right? You'll be have families, everybody, like, so they will might go out and you don't get enough time to practice. So that's the reason I recommend practice on daily basis. Even though you have office, spend half an hour or at least 1 hour to learn the concept. That will increase your profile. Now the market is too huge actually, like openings are too huge. Okay, if you spend two months 2 months, okay, from scratch, you will be high in the market. Okay, you will increase your profile and your weightage will be too high in the resume. Okay, that I can promise for sure.
Thank you, Sudhir.
So
Thank you
this
for
is
the
based on
explanation.
GUI or CLI?
What is that?
CLI or GUI based this Terraform is.
Terraform is, we are talking about CLI and cloud as well. Terraform cloud is also there, right? Terraform cloud and Terraform enterprise. Sorry guys, I didn't mention it actually. Terraform cloud and Terraform CLI enterprise as well. We are doing that as well. Okay. Sorry to miss that. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be teaching Terraform cloud.
Okay.
See,
Actually,
whatever is
I
mentioned
joined
here,
this.
you can see this Terraform cloud and enterprise as well. Okay. This also we are going to discuss.
Okay. So
Terraform
is there
modules,
any
Terraform
particular
automation.
certification for this Terraform?
Terraform
Is
we
there any
have
particular
associated.
certification for this Terraform?
Terraform is actually choose the correct answers, like AWS and Azure, what we write, right? It's not like Kubernetes, how we do a practical session. That is the first thing. And Terraform, the certification is Terraform Associate Engineer. Okay, so that you have to write. Okay, once you are thorough with this particular concept, you can directly sit for 1 week and you can crack the exam. Okay,
Okay, fine.
that is for
Sridhar, I
sure.
have to
Thank
ask you
you.
one question.
Yeah, Naresh.
Yeah, you will cover infrastructure or else both in configuration management also.
Configuration management, no, straightforward. Okay, we are not using any Ansible, Ceph, Puppet, or any other tool as well.
So for
Okay,
that,
so we
we
will
use
be,
separate tool.
see, I'll be
Okay,
using
Sudhir, I have one
Terraform.
more question. You mentioned Python, right?
Python, yes, yes, yes. Python as well.
Sudhir, you mentioned Python as well, right? Where exactly Python will fit in this course?
See, Python, once a Terraform concept is done, right, then we will be teaching Python. Okay.
Yeah, Shruti, could you please answer my question?
Yeah,
Why
Naresh.
can't we use infrastructure also? I mean, configuration management also for this?
I didn't say it, right? Did I?
No, why we are not discussing? I'm just asking you that.
See, that is like the course is designed like that. That is the first thing. And why we are not using configuration management, in the sense we are not into that. Terraform is only especially designed for infrastructure management. So that's the reason we are using only infrastructure management right now with the Terraform. Okay.
Okay.
We are not
So
doing any configuration.
do you have any separate course for that also?
No, yeah, no. As of now, no. You can talk to the management. They might give you some info. Maybe some course is there for configuration management, like Ansible with AWS or something like that. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
But if you are really learning from infrastructure management, don't try to use Ansible or anything, because now outside in the market, we are in the market right now. It's not that you are also not there, but since I'm already working on Terraform, Azure, DevOps and all, right? Terraform is the only tool where everybody is using for infrastructure management. Okay,
Correct. That's
a
correct.
common platform. Yeah, true. Ansible, Puppet don't learn. So straightforward answer I will tell for everybody. Puppet no one is using. So forget about Puppet. Except rare case, Ansible is a high priority for configuration management. If you want to learn in future, not in my course I'm saying, just for intimation. Okay. Don't waste time on Puppet and other tools. Okay. Learn Ansible.
Thanks, Sudhir. Suresh.
Yeah, Suresh. Yeah.
If I'm not wrong,
Can you
this
give
is
me, Suresh,
using JSON, right?
again, can you give me 5 minutes? Just I want to show through Terraform how the infrastructure is created. Okay, just a
Hey,
sample
please go
example I
ahead.
just want to show. Okay, then I will talk to you. Okay.
Sure.
So this is my actual server which I'm using for current people actually for current session what I'm doing actually. So this is where I wrote all my Terraform files, day 1, day 2, day 3 operations and all. Let me show you one particular task, day 1 operation. Okay, that is enough for us right now. So we have this. Let me try to remove other files which are not important right now. Oh, sorry. Again, mistake. Let me remove other files. We will do from scratch. Okay. So these are the two files which I have. Yeah. One is instance.tf and one is provider.tf. Right. So this is what I have right now. Okay. So this is what you know. Already told some theoretical concept. I already told about this. Now I'm trying to create some instance through Terraform. And this is the tagging which it will try to add, and this AWS instance will get created with this particular AMI, and it will use this particular instance type. Okay, this AMI is nothing but, let me show you. This AMI is actually Ubuntu, I'm guessing so, because I used long back AMI, and then let me remove these filters, clear this. Okay, let me search for that. So this is the one. Okay, we are using Ubuntu. Okay, so let me try to use that. So we are trying to spin up a Ubuntu instance in AWS with the instance type called t2.micro, and this will be the tag which will be added. Now, what is the first command I have told? Terraform init. Okay, right now I don't have anything. If you execute tree command -a, these are the two files which I have right now. Apart from that, nothing. So the first and foremost command which you execute is nothing but Terraform init to initialize. What this command will do, it will download the provider plugin and it will save in the current working directory. So this current working directory where I'm executing Terraform init command is called as root module. Okay, keep this note this point. It is called as root module. Okay, so what is this root module and all? We will talk about that. You can see now it downloaded your Terraform AWS provider plugin and it is stored somewhere. Where is that location? Let us understand. If you look at this command, it created a hidden file. It is not a normal directory. It created a hidden directory under that providers directory, under that registry.terraform.io, under that HashiCorp AWS. This is the version of plugin which got downloaded. Okay. If you go to your browser and if you search for AWS, let me go up. You can see what is the latest version, 3.62.0. Okay, but here why it downloaded only 3.60.0? Why? Because in my provider block I have written equal to. I am expecting to download only this version. If you want greater than this, there is another option to give. Okay, so let us discuss in the actual session. Okay, forget about that right now. So your plugin is stored here. So this will be the plugin where your Terraform will use to call some API call in order to communicate to that particular EC2 resource. Okay, now this is done. This is called as initialization. Okay, it will create a .terraform hidden directory and it will create a .terraform log file. This is called as dependency log file. So what this file will have, this file will have your provider related information and their hash codes. Okay, we will discuss about this. This you should not modify manually. This file is maintained automatically by Terraform init command. Manually editing may be lost in further updates. If you try to do it manually, tomorrow if you execute Terraform init command, again it will get replaced. Okay, so this is one thing you have to remember.
Yes, Sudhir.
Yes, Vineet.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. As you said, we are executing the Terraform init command, which will
Yes.
be like downloading the file. So before that, we need to install the Terraform on this, like which OS we
Yeah,
are
that's what
using.
I told, right? See, Terraform AWS is already installed. That's what I told. For this demo, just try to understand how faster it is and how it is automated through Terraform. That's what I've told. Okay.
All right. Okay, so
Yeah.
it will be teaching that course, right?
Yeah. See, from scratch. Don't worry about this at all. Okay.
So there you mean to say AWS SDK
Sorry.
in local,
No, this is not SDK.
in local machine, or it's in
We installed a Terraform CLI package. It is okay. It is just a binary. It is not a service out there. It is not a service which will be running in the background. It is just a binary which we will download from our release cycle, and we will place it in a proper binary location. Okay, executable location in
for
Linux.
when we are executing Terraform in particular server, right? So we will be installing
Yes.
the particular cloud shell as well, right?
Yes, we have installed AWS CLI as well. You can see
CLI.
this.
Okay.
AWS is also installed. Okay.
Okay.
That also I did it. Okay, this is a part of actual course. I don't want to waste a time on this right now because we have a limit time, right, in this demo. So that's the reason. Okay. After this Terraform init command is run, actually there are two commands which are not actually written there in the slides. Why? Because it is not actually, it will try to create. It is called as Terraform FMT, which is nothing but formatting. Formatting in the sense, it will, if you have not written with the proper spaces and all, right, it will correct your Terraform configuration files automatically according to the styling. Okay, so this will do it for you. It is already written in a proper way, so that's the reason nothing has been printed. If it is trying to modify your files actually in the background, it will print the file name which it has modified. Okay, for example, in providers block, for example, I have written space like this. Like this. Okay, generally we do like this, right? Now it is not in a proper way actually as per styling, Terraform styling. So now if I execute Terraform FMT, see that it has modified this file. You can see now again it added in a proper way. This is what Terraform FMT does. Okay, and then it doesn't do anything in the background. It will just format your files. Okay, then there is one more important command to verify your syntaxes, means whether I have written in a proper way in the sense where I have written properly, my syntaxes have followed or not. That will be done through validate. Okay, so this will validate your Terraform configuration files. If you have done some mistake, spelling mistake, or if you are not written properly what is expected in the resource block, so that will be validated by your Terraform validate command. Okay, so this is what it is. After this validation is done, now I can execute Terraform plan. Okay, so this Terraform plan, now it will contact to AWS and it will say like what it is trying to get created. Okay, without executing Terraform init command, you cannot run Terraform plan or Terraform validate. Okay, Terraform FMT can be ran without Terraform init command as well. Okay, so do remember this point. Now you can see it is trying to create a resource. There is a plus symbol, minus symbol in the sense delete, minus slash plus in the sense it will recreate. If you see something like tilde, it will update. Okay, that we will discuss in the later session. Now we can see it is trying to use this AMI and it is trying to use this instance type, and these are the labels which got picked. Okay, now let us try to create. I'm okay with this. So Terraform apply. You can, without prompting for input, see if you don't pass anything after this, it will ask you whether to continue or not. Yes, you have to give yes. If you don't want that to be prompted, you can give option called -auto approve, -auto -approve. Okay, it will not ask you like this. Okay, so if now I need to give yes, what it will do now in the background, it will try to contact to my AWS and it will try to create an instance. Let's wait and see. Okay, so let's wait. You can see now it is getting created. Hi Manikanda.
Yeah, just I have a query. If you have a multiple Terraform files, how we can select the particular one?
So you have to create a
So as of
directory.
now,
So in that directory, you have to place your Terraform files, or you have to create a module. Simple. You got the point? In
I didn't
Ansible
get
also we do the
exactly.
same.
So as of now,
Okay, come
no,
again.
as of
Sorry.
now we have only single Terraform file, right? So we can, as of now we have only single file, right? So when we're giving
Yes.
the Terraform apply, it is directly executing that file.
Yes. See,
So
Terraform
in case
files.
if you have multiple files,
See, Terraform will automatically pick all the files, whatever the extension is got called as .tf. So your Terraform files is having an extension called .tf. Okay. So all the TF files will be automatically picked. Okay. Whatever the TF files you have written, it will
okay,
pick the
but
files. It knows
yeah,
how to create one after the other. Okay.
okay, but we need to select only particular file for that scenario.
So then we have to pass that file name. Okay. Or you need to remove that particular file, or you have to rename this particular file. That's the only thing you have. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, if you see carefully, after executing Terraform apply, it has created a file called Terraform state file. This is what I'm talking about, state file. In this state file, whatever the Terraform has created your instance here, that information, metadata information will be stored in this file. Why? Because Terraform every time cannot run some API calls, right? Every time it cannot run. So that's the reason, as per the changes what we have in this instance, it is already stored in this particular file. So this file, if you try to cat this file, okay, it will have your entire information of your instance. Okay, your instance, what network it is using, what is the IP address. You can see the public IP, private IP, and all. Okay, and this is the public DNS. So this information will be stored here. This is called as current state. This is called as your current state. Okay, the current state of your Terraform will be stored in the TF state file. Desired state is nothing but what you are expecting to have. That is written in the Terraform configuration files. Okay, so this file will be created in the Terraform apply. Okay, and these files will be created in Terraform init. Okay, now this is the instance which is created. Okay, so this is how it is. Now if I want to destroy, Terraform destroy. When you execute this particular destroy, I am passing -- auto approve. Okay, so what it will do in the background, it will remove the instance what it has managed, what it has created. Okay, and not only that, it will take this backup of this particular file, and this original file will get empty. Okay, this data will get cleared. Before that, it will take a backup of this particular file when you are trying to destroy, and then this actual file will get empty. Okay, so let us see that. I have given auto approve, so that's the reason it will not prompt you whether to pass yes or no. Okay, so directly it will pick my value. So we'll take only 5 minutes so that we can wind up the demo. So it is still destroying it. Now you might have seen, instead of running, it should be in shutdown state. You can see now it is getting shut down. After that it will terminate. Okay, how it did manually, so it is trying to do in the background. Okay, through Terraform. So in this way we can manage. Okay, so this is the advantage of, like, simple demo. I just want to show how this Terraform workflow works actually. Okay, so it got terminated, which means that the task has been completed. You can see now it took totally 46 seconds to complete this task. Okay, so this is how.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, if you said we can apply this, like we can spin up the infrastructure like on AWS or Azure cloud.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
except that, can we apply that in in our private cloud, like in
Sorry.
on in private cloud, like we have the own infrastructure, like company infrastructure.
Private cloud in the
On
sense, let's say you have your private cloud. For that, we need to have a provider. Okay. If you don't have your provider, let's say, how you can check whether we have a provider for your private cloud or something, like you have to check your registry.terraform.com. Okay. So here it
Okay.
will tell you how many providers we have. Totally 1,476 providers and 7,170 modules, and still continuing. They are still developing actually. If you want to know what are the providers are supported by Terraform, click on that providers. You can scroll down and see. Okay. You can see this: AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Kubernetes, Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud,
Got
everything.
it. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. We can do a lot of other stuff, guys. I explained only few things what I can do in the demo. Okay, but we can do a lot of other stuff. This is what the company talks about. If you want to see in GitHub where is this particular code is available, you can search my GitHub link. Okay, and for more videos, if you want to learn Docker, Kubernetes and all, you can search this YouTube channel, Sudhir DevOps. Okay, you can search so many videos actually. Okay, I will already uploaded in YouTube. You can just search like this. You can go to the YouTube, and if you search like, let me show you once. Nothing to pay. Okay, it's free of cost. Nothing to join or like that. Okay, you can open this. I've already uploaded some videos related to Docker and Kubernetes. If you want to learn, you can open the playlist. You can see in the playlist related to Terraform. I'm not doing it right now. Docker and Kubernetes, it's already uploaded, and still I'm uploading the videos. Okay, you can discuss that, and always you can go to my GitHub link. Let me show you the Terraform actually my GitHub link. Okay, so you can see this. Okay, syllabus you can see on the main branch. If you want to see the content, this is our entire syllabus. Okay, related to Terraform for Azure and DevOps. Sorry, AWS. If you want to see the actual content, you can see here. Okay, so take this, keep it with you, and you can open at any time. Always I do some changes, so it has to be up to date. Okay, okay, sorry, let me do it for everyone. Keep a note of this in your notepad. Okay, this URL. In this way, you can search so many videos actually. You can go through it. Okay, always your videos will get updated. You can subscribe, you can get some updates. Okay, that's how it is. And this one, always I do changes. You can see 34 comments. 3 days ago only I did some changes. Okay, if you want a Kubernetes related stuff, you can go through Kubernetes actually. You can see this, right? Whatever the videos which are getting uploaded, it is actually, this is the content. Okay, take this one as well. You can keep it with you guys. Okay, in this way you can touch my repo. You'll have so many examples of it. Okay, so that's all for the demo. So you can see here AWS virtual machine has been created actually. Okay, you can see the virtual machine has been created. You can log in and you can do whatever. This is the public IP. Okay, so this is like same thing. Okay, how you are creating, that's the only method which will get changed from cloud to cloud. Okay, they will follow some steps, and this provider will follow some steps. Okay, that's it. Let me delete, done, because I don't want to maintain in the background. So here also this is done, right? Let me log out. Okay, so here also once this is done, I will log out. Okay, so thank you for the demo. Okay, thank you guys, thanks for joining.
Hi Sudhir.
Hi Praveen.
This is Praveen here. I just want to ask one thing, if you learn this Azure and AWS cloud technologies, this is one stream, and the Docker Kubernetes is another stream, or do we have to work on all those things?
See, it's up to you how you want to increase your profile. Okay, it's not that hurry burry like we need to learn this, but if you learn it parallelly, so since that's what I'm saying, like spend your 2 months from now after joining this course, spend for 2 months on all the stuff whatever I give it to you. Take some time, leverage your time at least for a 1 hour, practice Terraform and the other stuff which I uploaded in videos in the YouTube channel, and learn that. Okay, so whenever we create a WhatsApp group, okay, at any time you can ping me and you can ask some doubts at anything, not only related to Terraform, right? You can ask anything. Okay,
yeah, I got it.
Everybody will be there in the WhatsApp group. Everybody will there. If some person knows, right, he will clarify your doubt. If I'm available, I will clarify your doubt. That's how we start communicating with each other. Okay.
Yes, sir. I got it. But once we get into the company, we will be working only on a specific domain, right?
Yeah. See, you're working. See, if you want to learn, then see, it depends. Maybe today you'll get some job immediately on this profile, or it might delay sometimes. Okay, it doesn't mean that we cannot learn everything, right? Say right now we are learning Terraform. Let's understand Terraform with AWS and Azure. That is more than enough for the current market. If you want to learn Kubernetes and Docker as well parallelly, learn it. Take some 1 hour, spend some time 1 hour and practice it. It is not a coding, okay? Just you need to understand the concept, how to run your applications on the container level. Till now, you are running your applications on the virtual machines and bare metal servers, right? How will you run on your containers? How your containers are running your applications? That is all about your Docker and Kubernetes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you.
Thanks,
Sudhir,
Sudhir.
what's your preferred
Okay.
time frame for the classes here?
Yeah, classes it's evening time, maybe same time, 8:30 to 9:30, or it might be 8 to 9, same time. Okay. You can talk to the management. They might give you
Yeah,
some
thanks about that. Yeah,
what is a
sure.
common time frame. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Just wanted to ask if there is a weekend class as well, so I can talk to Visualpath as well.
No. Weekend batch as of now, no. Yeah, as of now, no weekend batches. But when I started teaching, I will teach only weekdays, Saturday, Sunday excluded. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I live abroad actually. I am
Okay.
interested to take up the class, but it's my work hours, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but I'll touch base with Visualpath. Yeah.
I understand. So morning batches will get started. Morning batch is also going on actually. It's already started maybe 2 weeks ago. So it is better you join after a few days. One more batch will get started on morning time. If you want, you can join in that time as well. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll check with them. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody can note my number. Yeah, you can get my number from that YouTube channel as well. And you can note this number at any help you people need to contact on some particular technology. You can just ping me on WhatsApp. Sometimes I may not answer the call because you can understand. So when we are in teaching field, people will be there. Okay.
So this is Suresh. Last question.
Yes, please.
So this is entirely we cover.
Yeah.
I see JSON, right? If I'm not wrong. The code we use in Terraform.
It's not JSON actually. It's not JSON. No. It is a declarative language. Sysops declarative language it is. Okay.
So we can use
the output what it is printing. It's a JSON format.
Okay. What about YAML? We use anywhere YAML too, like same like
No.
Ansible. No.
No. Not really.
Okay.
No, we don't.
Sure.
It's not about Ansible. It's not about YAML. It's using its own declarative language.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. You are also teaching Ansible? Are you teaching Ansible as well?
No.
Okay.
No Ansible, nothing. I will teach only for this teaching itself only. I will get some headache.
Okay. So are you in the IT field or else?
You can understand, right? Say how many topics we are covering, right? So you cannot expect configuration management tool as well. It will continue for 1 year. I'll be keep on teaching the same bench.
Okay. Okay, Sudhir.
So that's the reason. Whatever the previous batches
So this is the
right? I'm uploading the videos. You can just watch YouTube channel.
okay. So Sudhir, this is the complete course for the automation, cloud automation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Let us go with the market. That's how it is. Okay. It's like huge market now. You can see, right? If you know this cloud and this automation, right? You're like you can increase your profile like anything, and this is the market which we have to utilize. See, company is not paying you for free of cost, right? You have the stuff, and that's the reason they are paying you.
Correct. Right.
So never degrade yourself saying that I don't know this, I may not crack the interview, nothing. See, person, it depends upon the interview as well. Sometimes he will ask only few questions if he is in hurry, because we are in the interview panel, right? Sometimes we'll ask only simple questions because if we don't have some time. And sometimes if you are not lucky enough, they will like, you can understand how they will do. Okay. It all depends.
So Sudhir, the Terraform,
Yeah.
we can much easier way to automate, right? So why still in the market we there require like Python also?
See, Python is something, let's say you have your coding, right? Entire coding you have written for your project. Let's say it is all of coding, Python coding for your automation testing or something like that. For creating infrastructure also, if you want to do through coding itself, through Python coding itself, then they can integrate their writing their classes and functions and methods to spin up their infrastructure through Python code itself. Okay, so if they want to do like that, they can use this. But after Terraform came, right, no one is using Python actually to spin up this infrastructure. It is, you can understand, right? I need to recruit the people who knows Python very well, and then need to write the coding in. They need to maintain so many classes and files, methods, and all. It's like not that easy.
But somehow like a lot of like 90% of the requirements in US, they're I'm end up with asking like Python too. So
see, yeah, it depends, right? So that it doesn't mean that every organization has to follow the same thing, right? Product companies might follow some particular methodology. Tech supports follow some particular methodology. It depends upon the client as well. Client will say that I want only these tools. Then you have to go for it. Okay, because Python will take a lot of cache memory, and then it will take a lot of time to execute. Okay, execution time is more in Python. You know that stuff, right?
yeah.
So we cannot prefer that. I cannot scratch my head on writing the Python code. When we can simply maintain through Terraform, writing a simple declarative language. If some person have newly joined the Terraform who has already knows about basics, he can easily modify that. So you cannot see the flow. Python, I need to understand where is my actual class, where is my in multiple places I will call the class, my base class. So he need to understand the entire code structure, which is really takes some time to understand, to be frank. Okay, it's not that easy to maintain and to write.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
Hi,
so that's all.
can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can.
so my question is, if I attend the class, like, are you gonna teach us on how to do the Terraform, or modify the codes and a simpler approach, instead of trying to understand from basic and just trying to build it by ourselves? Does that make sense?
You meant to say like writing this Terraform providers or something, like writing the actual Golang?
Yes.
No, no, because I'll tell you the reason why. Because it needs, a person has to understand that language first, Golang again, and he's to know capable enough in understanding it. So it is not possible. Okay, the number of audience and the audience how they are joining, based on that the course is designed. It's not about modifying your actual code of Terraform, or you're not trying to build the new provider or new. We are trying to build the module, but it's not the actual code module what we are building. Okay, it's not about that. Okay, then. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining the demo. Let's see in the actual sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.